Hello friends, welcome to module 2 of GST Executive. In this module, we will majorly learn how to prepare and file GST return. Before that, let's begin with some important concepts. So the first concept is what is output supply and tax liability. So whatever your business sales, so the goods and services are known as output supply. So outward, basically going out, okay? And what is tax liability? So the GST that you have collected on the sale of goods and services that you are making will be your tax liability, but not that complete amount. You will also deduct input tax credit from it, and the balance will be your tax liability. Now, the second concept is input tax credit, like the way in which you are collecting GST from your customer. Similarly, when you are purchasing certain goods and services from the vendor also collect GST from you. So the GST that you pay, the tax that you pay from the input that you received from other businesses will be your input tax credit. And why it is credit? Because this you can reduce from the tax liability. Now the third and fourth concept is B2B and B2C. So what is business to business transaction? So when you are selling goods or services to other business, the business which is registered with GST, so this particular transaction will fall under B2B category. And what is B2C? If you are selling to a customer who is not registered and the customer will use the goods, so this transaction is known as B2C, business to customer. And why it is important to segregate the transactions between B2B and B2C? Because when you sell to other businesses, that business will use the GST that you are collecting as their input tax credit. That's why it's very important to have a classification between B2B and B2C. Now let's look at some of the important GST returns type. So the first type is GSTR1. So this particular return include details of all the output supplies of goods and services. So whatever sale you are making will be part of this return. And GSTR3B includes the summary of this output supply plus the inward supply and also the payment of taxes that you have made. Okay, so it's like a summary of majorly three things. Now let's move on to the third report, which is GSTR9. So friends, the GSTR1 and GSTR3B will be filed monthly or quarterly. Okay, and at the year end annually you have to file GSTR9, which is like consolidated report. So if you are filing, let's say, monthly, so GSTR9 will be consolidation of all the 12 returns that you have filed. Okay, now let's move on to the fourth report, which is GSTR9C. Friends, the books of accounts of your business will also get audited. So this audited financial statement will also have the figure of sales that you have made or the purchases that you have made. So GSTR 9C is basically the reconciliation between your audited financial statement and the figure that you have mentioned in the returns. Okay. So now let's move on to the next report, which is GSTR 4. So basically this is a quarterly return which the taxpayer who has opted for composition scheme is required to file. Just remember that this will be a quarterly return. Now the next two returns, which are GSTR 7 and GSTR 8, are basically return related to TDS and TCS. Friends, we have already studied what is TDS and TCS in the accounts executive module. But this TDS is not related to income tax. It is related to GST. The concept remains same. The last return that you have seen is GSTR 2A. So in the previous important concept, I told you what is input tax credit. So whenever you are selling someone and you are collecting GST from them, this GST that you have collected will become their input tax credit. So this particular return, GSTR2A, reflects the inward supply. So if you are the business, your GSTR2A will include what inward supplies that you have taken for that particular period. So this is not the exhaustive list of GST returns. There are other returns as well, but these are the important ones. Now let's look at what are the frequencies and when you are required to file this return. So what is the due date? So friends, there are majorly two classifications for the businesses up to turnover of 5 crore and businesses with more than turnover of 5 crores. Okay, so let's take the first part, which is businesses with turnover up to 5 crore. So these businesses can file GSTR1 and GSTR3B returns quarterly. Okay, and for the businesses more than 5 crore, they are required to file both these returns monthly. And the due date in case of quarterly returns, if you can see, GSTR1 is quarterly, but the due date is 13th of next month. Okay. So for example, if the quarter ends in September, then the due date will be 13th of October. Okay. And for GSTR 3B, so there are basically two due dates, 22nd and 24th of the next month. So why there are two dates? Because there is certain classification made. So businesses for a certain listed state, the due date is 22nd, and for other it's 24th. And similarly, if we move on to GSTR1 and GSTR3B for the businesses which has turnover more than 5 crore, the due date is 11th of next month and 28th of next month. Okay. Now let's move on to the due dates for GSTR 9 and 9C. So for both the types of businesses, it's same, 31st December of next financial year. Okay. So what does, and the frequencies, obviously you have to file this only once annually. So this is an annual return. So the current month is May 2024. Okay. So the due date for this period for 24 and 25 will be 31st December 2025. That is 31st December of next year. Below now you can see what is the frequency and due date for composition dealers. So they have to file CMP08 quarterly returns, and the due date for the same is 18th of next month. And GSTR4, which is an annual return, and the due date for GSTR4, which is an annual report, is 30th of the month succeeding the financial year. That means 30th of April, because the financial year ends at 31st March. So friends, now we'll see how to file GST return. So to file the return, you have to first visit www.gst.gov.in, or you can just Google GST login and click on the first link. Okay, and this will open the GST portal. On the right hand side top, you can see a login button. So click on it, give your details, and the dashboard will open. So this is how the home screen of GST look like. Here, to file the return, you have to first go to services, then go to returns, and below that click on returns dashboard. So this is your step 1. Navigate to returns dashboard. Services, returns dashboard. Okay. Once you click on returns dashboard, you have to select financial year, quarter, period, and search. And this will open dashboard like this. So it has 5 boxes. So the first box you can see is for filing GSTR1. Second is GSTR2A, 2B, GSTR2B quarterly view, and finally GSTR3B. Friends, I have highlighted two boxes, GSTR1 and GSTR3B, because these are the returns that you have to file. And first you have to begin with GSTR1, and the rest 3 boxes are auto drafted. You can see auto, so you are not required to do anything here, but you can download and view the summary, as we have already discussed GSTR2B in the previous video. So let's begin by filing GSTR1. Again, there are two ways in which you can upload the data. So what data goes into GSTR1, we have already seen, right? The data of outward supplies goes into GSTR1. So there are two ways in which you can give this data. One is prepare it online, and the other one is prepare offline. So we will see both. First, let's begin with prepare online. So once you click on prepare online button, this dashboard opens. Friends, if you have any sales during the period, you can put it below. So below you can see multiple boxes. Like the first box is majorly for B2B invoices, and the fourth box in a row, the 7 B2C, this is for recording B2C invoices. Okay, so these two are the important boxes. But suppose during the month or during the quarter you have no sales, so in that case you have to file GST nil return. Okay, so you have to just click on this toggle, and then all the below boxes will disappear, and you will find this note, nil form GSTR1 can be filed by you if you have an ABCD 4 pointers, and then you can just click on file statement. This is how you will file GSTR1 nil report. Okay, now suppose you have certain sales during the period. So how to record it? First, divide it in two parts, B2B and B2C. B2B invoices are to be recorded in the first box. Okay, so let's first record B2B invoices. So once you click on B2B invoices, this tab will open, and here you have to click on add record, means the invoice details you have to give one by one. Okay, so once you click on add record, you have to put the GST number of recipient. Then once you put the GST number, the name of recipients will appear. Below you have to give invoice number, invoice date, and total invoice value, and also place of supply. And below, if you scroll down, you have to give rate wise taxable value. For example, if you are dealing with a good which has 5% GST rate, you have to put, let's say if you have made the sales of 1 lakh rupees, so in front of 5% you have to put 1 lakh, and automatically CGST and SGST will get calculated. Okay, and suppose the next invoice that you will add by putting detail here has 18% interest rate, you will add the invoice details, and here in front of 18% you will write the taxable value, suppose 2 lakh rupees, and accordingly the central tax and state tax will get calculated, and then you have to click on save button. So this is how you will upload the details one by one using online option. Now let's look at the offline option. So to upload the details using offline option, you have to first prepare the CSV file. But for that, you need the GST filing tool. So we will go to GST portal, that is gst.gov.in. Here go to downloads, click on offline tools and click on returns offline tools. Here click on download button. Are you sure you want to download? Yes, proceed. Then it will ask for location. So I will select desktop and I will press save. So I have already downloaded it. So here you can see, so once you download, you will find a folder like this, GST underscore offline. So right click on that folder and extract all. So once you extract, another folder appears. So basically the earlier folder was zip file and this is the actual folder. So in this folder, you will find the tool. So GST offline tool. So you have to double click it and you have to install it. Okay. After you install, automatically you will find the GST offline tool icon on your desktop. So double click and open that icon. So what we are trying to do now is, instead of putting the record one by one using online facility, we are now putting everything offline in one single form and then try to upload that single CSV file into the portal. Okay, so once you double click on the icon, you have to click on upload new invoice. Yes, click on new. Then here you have to select GST1, GSTR1. Then give your GSTN number, select financial year, tax period. If you are SEZ taxpayer, click yes, else no. And if you are filing quarterly, then select yes, and then click on proceed. Yes. Okay. Once you are on this page, you have to click on import file. But before import, you have to prepare the file, right? So how to prepare the file? If you go back to the folder, in this you can find section wise CSV file. Click on it, click on GSTR1 and you can see the option B2B. So this is the data that we will upload. Suppose if you have to file B2C, then you have to use this below files. Okay. But now for B2B, we will click on this file. It's already populated with some sample data, so we will use the same data. So go back to the utility, click on import Excel, go to the folder GSTR1. So once you are on this page, click on, first select the section. So here is the section B2B, then click on import CSV. And now we will select the CSV B2B and open. Yes, save data. Okay, and then click on view summary. You can see number of invoices 7. Okay, and now generate file. So this is the file that is created, JSON file. Okay, you have to save it on desktop. So friends, this is how you will collate the data, and now we have to upload it. Okay, so go back again to the online portal. So here, instead of selecting prepare online, select prepare offline. Okay, then this page will get open. Here you have to choose file and choose the file that we have just created. Once you upload the JSON file, it will say your JSON file has been successfully uploaded. You will get the pop-up. Again, go back to the dashboard and click on prepare online. So we have to continue preparing online once you have uploaded the data offline. Okay, so now you can see all the 7 invoices are uploaded. Okay, so this is how you will first fill B2B data. Now let's go to B2C data. We have already seen what's the difference between B2B and B2C. So in B2C data, the only advantage is you are not required to give invoice by invoice detail. You are just required to give state-wise details. Okay, so let's click on B2C. This page will open. Click on add record. and here you have to select place of supply, taxable value, and rate. Okay, and you have to save it. So this is how you will fill the B2C tab. Now after B2B, B2C, you have to fill the third important tab, that is HSN wise details. So whatever details you are filling in B2B and B2C, so here you have to give product wise details of both the invoices, B2B as well as B2C. But again, not invoice by invoice. Here you can give just product wise. If you have one product, then give one product details, just you have to put HSN here, and the other details like total quantity, rate, total taxable value, etc., and you have to add it and then save it. Once all the three tabs are done, then you have to click on generate summary. One generate summary is done, you can proceed to file and click on proceed to file. Yeah, once you click on it, verify all the details are coming correct, and then click on file statement. So this is the final acknowledgement page. Here you have to select authorized signatory, and then there are two options, file with DSE and file with EVC. So we will proceed with file with EVC. You will get an OTP, and once you enter the OTP, your return will be filed. Okay. But which return? GSTR1, which includes your outward supply details. Now the next step is to file your GSTR3B, which will include more details like the summary of your output supply, summary of your inward supplies, and tax payment details. So this is how, friends, you will file returns using the GST portal. And this session is basically to give you overview of how to file return so that you are confident. You are not actually required to file the return, but just to know the process for the interview. Okay. And to read more, you can download the file from our resources section. And while you are actually working as a GST executive, so majority of the firms that you will be working might be having certain tool like Tally, accounting tool like Tally, SAP, or any other tool. So from this tool, you can automatically download JSON file. So you're not required to open the Excel file and populate the details. From this tool itself, you can just download the JSON file and you can upload and you can proceed. So this brings us, friends, to the end of this module. Do refer to the file in the resources section. Thank you so much.